It's
What a
what a
week!
week.
What a week we've had! What a week we've had! Augusta, let me test your mic for a second. Say something for me, please.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
All right, Xavier, can I check your mic?
Testing, testing. Can you hear me? One, two.
Is he coming out there in internet line loud and clear? Awesome, awesome. One, let me hear you for a second. Say something. Talk to our guests or listeners out there in internet land. Let me hear you.
Yes, for wherever you're tuning in from, welcome tonight. We have a great show tonight, two great guests, so we are excited about tonight. Welcome.
Oh man, aren't we excited? You know, this platform, we aired our first show last week, and what a success that was.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on it, guys? Share your thoughts. What do you all think about it?
I
Personally, it
think
was a great
go
experience.
go ahead,
Oh,
Xavier.
it was a great experience. Definitely being one of the I wouldn't say I was the oldest person on the call, but being the being the younger guy on the call, getting all the wisdom from everyone, just listening to everyone's experience, going through the same thing that I'm going through right now. It was definitely a help.
One, I know you pop in, you want to jump out and tell us what the experience was like. Can you share that?
I was just gonna say for me, it was definitely therapeutic. To just be in this
Mm.
space with like-minded individuals, like-minded, I'll say men, and being able to just share our experiences, our life challenges, successes, and failures, just in a safe space. It was refreshing.
And Augusta is never short of words, so I know he's going to have
Hey,
something to
listen,
say, right?
Juan said it best. To be able to actually carry out what the title of this group is and bridge the gap between this multitude of generations and ages, younger, Loxley, who was older or blessed to have seen more rotations around the sun, being able to just share in that wisdom and his counsel. It's amazing. I think this is going forward. It's going to really be helpful for everybody who tunes in and taps in.
Wow, isn't that awesome? Yeah, it was quite an experience and a good one. Was a good experience. During our last show, we made a commitment and we decided that each of us, hosts and moderators, will be working on something unique that we will carry. And Xavier, where are you with that thing? Can you restate what you said you was going to be doing, and where are you with that?
So for mine, it was to say no a little bit more,
Ooh.
and to focus more on myself, to better myself versus as helping others as much. Now I'm still gonna help people, but focus more on myself. Right now, I did a few things this past week where I probably should have said no, I can't do it just yet. But I did say no to one thing and said I got to take some time out for myself. Um, it was um, yeah, I guess I could say we're gonna be open. It was to go somewhere that I really didn't really, because I drive a pickup truck right now. I drive a Ram 1500, so gas costs a lot, and I live in the metro area of Atlanta. So
Wow.
yeah, no one's trying to pay $200 just to go down and back and do all that stuff. So I told myself, you know what, I'm going to save the money, and even though I really wanted to help out with somebody, but I saved the money and went and bought something for myself and took the
Mm.
time out to treat myself sometime. I'm always trying to treat somebody else, but take some more insight to
Are you
me.
the person everyone call when they need some
Yeah.
help?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm sort of picking up that's what
It's
that's what
a
call
blessing and a curse.
well, it's mostly a blessing, when people are relying on you. That is because they know you are one that is capable of delivering on what you say you're going to do. And I think that's how I would look at it in your position. You
Yeah,
can
he's
say
the one with the
no,
truck
get it
too.
done.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Let's keep it moving, guys. Let's go around the circle here. I want to think of us as sitting around a bonfire, right? It's a bonfire conversation we're having. So, Augusta, what is that thing that you made a commitment to do?
I'd say that this year, from a standpoint of time, really want to be better manager of my time. But one of the things I wanted to invest in was service. So my fiance and I are gonna commit to doing some service throughout the city of Atlanta over the next couple of months. We want to try to get out at least once a month, everything ranging from, working at the Atlanta Food Bank. We volunteered before at Love Beyond Walls with a friend of mine, Terrence Lester, so amazing over there, and probably putting in some time over at Gateway Center. So, really invested in service for others, telling people yes, as opposed to Brother Xavier, who's telling people no. We're gonna be telling the needy yes.
Well, as you're serving these organizations, don't forget that I'm the president and CEO of one of those organizations, Global Humanity Network, and we are looking for individuals, men and like you, to serve with our organizations. In fact, and I'll just say what I commit to do is my commitment is to work with my organization, its members, to build a mentoring program that is an effective one and one that will make a huge difference, help to build capacity, build capacity in underserved communities. So, guys, I'm looking out to each of you to be a part of that at some point, to do what you can, take on a youth and mentor them the best way you can. We actually have a program we're currently building, and we're about to launch it. So that's my commitment. Juan, you're up.
Love it.
Yeah, well, it's actually on the lines of what Augusta was saying about saying yes. More specifically though is doing it scared. That's my mantra for this year. When opportunities come, and instead of second guessing, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it anyway, and not start to, trying to nitpick and why this and why I can. And yes, I'm gonna do it. So yep. So this year, I'm doing it scared.
There's a saying that we ask for time to think about it so we can say no. When we get into this deeper assessment, we're looking for reasons why we shouldn't, as opposed to why we should. And especially when it comes to service and to live and a life in service. So that's what I know, and so I think we can all, they say you should be the change you want to see, right?
Absolutely.
And change starts with whom?
With us, with me.
With us, right? With us. So all wonderful commitments. We're holding each other accountable. We're accountability partners. And I think it's a good time to say thank you to all our listeners, people watching out there. We appreciate you joining us. We know you could be doing something better with your time. So we're grateful. We're honored that you're taking the time to join us. We have a packed show tonight. We'll be talking to two individuals. We're going to be bringing them on real soon. But what else is going on, gentlemen? What else you want to share with our audience before we get to our guests? What else you want to share? Xavier, you go first. You're the front man.
I just want to invite everyone to come out to the Collision with Purpose, our celebration that we're doing for community leaders that often don't get the light shown on them. We're doing that March 9th. So if you don't have your ticket, go ahead and get that now. Those tickets come with, once you buy your one ticket, you can get your plus one. So I'm not telling you who to bring as your plus one, but invite someone else.
Right. So yeah, one of the correction, we're doing it March 2nd at Shiloh High School. And when you purchase your ticket, you will receive a signed copy of A Collision with Purpose in Pursuit of Purpose. However, you're allowed to bring one person with you, right? As you come to the event. That person, for them to receive a book, they will have to purchase that book. But your purchase, allows for two to come into the event. So thanks for bringing that up, Xavier. That's a big deal. That's something that we're all looking forward to. It's an opportunity for like-minded individuals to come together and just do what we do. Just build, be stronger individuals, and so forth in our purpose, in our walk through life. So Augusta, what else you say? What else is happening in your world?
Oh wow, I was gonna chime in with the exact same thing that Xavier, led the way, but real excited for March 2nd. I think March 2nd is going to be a game changer, similar to how us doing this every Thursday, actually front facing and engaging men with open, real, genuine conversations. I think that is going to seamlessly carry over to March 2nd and expand not just for men, but to women, to children, to everyone on this discussion of purpose, on this discussion of being driven, on this discussion of finding out how you really collide with what you're supposed to be doing here on this earth, what God has designed you to do. So I think that's going to be good. Outside of that, I'm coming up on a number of different people's podcasts and shows over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, I'll send out those dates through all my respective social medias. But yes, going to be a busy first quarter of the year, which is a good thing.
Good.
Awesome. Juan, I know you have something to say about that. What's going on in your world?
It's when you make the decision to say yes, right, and just do it anyway, you recognize the doors that are laid open right before you. So I know one thing which we talked about last year. I started a fathers group. It's called The Bridge. And so the same mission and goal here is just to give fathers, almost in a sense, reestablish their voice. I honestly believe that we strengthen our families, we strengthen our communities. And so we have a couple of meetings coming up. We're just really reaching out to our fathers, especially at the academy that I work at. So we have some meetings coming up, just building this brotherhood. We have a lock-in that we do with young men on Friday evenings, and games, speakers, just some encouragement, bonfires, just sitting around and talking and sharing and also listening to them. So we got a couple of those coming up this first quarter, and just continuing just to strengthen this bond with our community of men, of fathers, more specifically. So.
How can our people watching this program get involved with something like that?
Absolutely. So I put information out on my social media. This is Juan Marcel. So on Instagram, absolutely. So I'll put it on Instagram. This is Juan Marcel. Information about the programs and things and such that we have coming up.
Awesome. Because there's all kinds of secrets out there, but that's not a secret. That's not something we want to keep to ourselves. We want to get that out there. It's such a huge difference initiative like that can make in the lives of many. And I want to remind anyone watching this platform, while it's voices of men, this is not just about men, is it?
Right.
Not at all.
Right, Xavier?
Yeah, you're right.
It's not just about men. We just happen to be the ones here talking about it. Yeah. So I think this is a good time for us to take a break. I know we can't wait to bring on our guests. I see them in the backstage moving around. They're eager. They're ready. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. So I'm getting all kinds of thumbs up. They're ready to go. So let's take a quick break and then bring our guests on, okay?
Let's go.
A collision with purpose. In pursuit of purpose.
welcome back. Welcome back. The moment we've been waiting on, right?
Yes,
You're here.
yes.
So Juan, can you do us the honor of introducing Rex, Mr. Howard?
Absolutely. So let me just give you a brief intro. Rex Howard Jr. is a marriage and family therapist and personal development coach. He's deeply passionate about helping individuals and couples achieve their fullest potential in all aspects of life. Um, I'll say this: Rex is committed to creating a safe and supportive space for his clients to explore their innermost thoughts and feelings and to help them develop the tools and the strategies they need to create lasting change in their lives. Rex is not just this awesome therapist and coach. He is started as a mentee of mine. I've known him since his ninth grade year in high school, and now he's somebody an accountability partner. I call him Young Howard. So everybody, help me join me in welcoming Mr. Rex
All
Howard
right.
Jr.
So a drum roll, guys. All right. Welcome, Rex. Welcome, Rex. Rex, before you say anything, we have Mr. McCook on, so let's bring him on officially as well. And so it is my honor and, just feeling real good about bringing on my friend, Mr. Gary McCook. We call him Gary G. Mr. McCook is many things. He's a business owner of numerous types of businesses, but the one that I want to talk about, he is the founder and CEO of GIFs, and he will tell you what GIFs is. It's the Jamaica Independent Foreign Song Competition that is held in Atlanta. It's a global initiative, and it's all about giving back to the culture of Jamaica. And you'll hear a little bit about that from him tonight as well. He'll be involved with other aspects of the conversation we're going to be having tonight. So let's have a drum roll from Gary G.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
All right. So Rex, tell us a little bit about who is Rex Howard Jr.
Man, Rex Howard Jr., that's a great question. I was in the backstage thinking about who is Rex. Right. But outside of being a therapist, being a coach, I'm a son, I'm a dog dad, I'm a content creator, right? I am a guy that's on a journey to really, I would say, a broken kid on a journey to find the pieces to become a man and to become the person that God has created me to be. I'm a person of many experiences. One would say I've lived many lives, right? But throughout the wisdom and throughout my journey, I've learned so much, and I've been able to give back to my clients and to my family and just the people that I become in contact with everything that God has blessed me with. So that's kind of a brief synopsis of who Rex is.
Okay, and we're going to learn some more.
Absolutely.
Tonight is up, right?
Yes,
All right,
sir.
so let's take it to Gary G. Mr. Garfield McCook. Who is Gary G?
Who
Tell us a
is?
little bit about yourself, sir.
That sounds like you can do a show on who is he. Yeah, guys. Thanks, Dr. Lax, for inviting. And gentlemen, kudos to you. Those two guys in those hats, Laxley and I gotta get hats to get young like those guys. Next show we'll have our hats on. You want to put yours on?
Here we go.
There we go. There we go. No, it doesn't look cool like theirs though.
Listen, look.
Put it on.
Yeah, but I listened to when Rex said he was thinking of who is, and I never ever thought of that before to figure out who I am. But I think I'm just a guy who left an island in the sun for the American dream and just trying to fulfill that dream. I've been here 37 years, and each year I kind of look back and see what have I done that's different from last year, and every year gets me closer to that dream. But as Laxley said, I'm the president of the Jamaica International Independence Foreign Song Competition, which is a competition for Jamaican or Jamaican-born artists who are Jamaican or of Jamaican parentage here in the diaspora to sort of showcase their talent in terms of reggae music that coincides with our festival song in Jamaica. So that's basically it. I'm a real estate broker here and in New York. Laxley and I have partnered in many real estate deals. At least that's how we met. Real estate deals, and we have maintained a friendship since. And also, I have a personal care home in Kennesaw, a 14-bed facility, and we look at that as a ministry of our giving back to society, to the elderly, based on the gifts that we have received since my wife and I have been here in the United States. So that's it in a nutshell.
That's good.
Well, we might be in for a treat tonight, because one thing he didn't add is that he's an artist. With quite a few songs out there. So can I impose on you? Give me a little bit of "Give Me Jamaica." Just one quick piece. "Give Me Jamaica."
Oh, you mean off the song? Okay.
Yeah, the song "Give Me Jamaica."
JIIFSC, Jamaican reggae overseas, 8662, independence for me and you.
See, that's what we're talking about, right? Gentlemen, if you notice that we have two guests on, right? And if you look at what you're seeing here on the platform, you notice there's a little bit of an age difference, right? And
I'm younger.
What's the name of this program?
Bridging Generations.
Right? So you will always see that. We'll have two men on, but there's a slight difference in age. It's a slight, because what this conversation is about, just in case there's a different perspective or viewpoint, and even with the hosts, you'll also see there's a little bit of a difference as well. You know, starting with me a little bit younger, and then with Xavier real much older.
Yeah.
And then in between we have Juan and Augusta. So take it away, gentlemen. Let's open this up to conversation. The conversation, Augusta, Juan, Xavier. Let's talk that conversation with each other.
Well, I want to start with this. I was thinking, even when we were talking about what's the one thing that we wanted to focus in on this year, and then just listening to both Rex and Gary, I realized that all of us on here are doing the very thing that this show is about. Men who are affecting culture, be it, therapy, the social aspect, the social emotional aspect, music and art. We got the industry, business, real estate, nonprofit management, community service, all those different things. So I'm happy to see and hear that we're on, and we are actually, fulfilling our mission, even just through conversations and building and networking. So how I will ask this though, how important is it to especially to our guest, with leaving a mark in your community? I would say family and your community. How important is it? Either one.
Okay. For me, it's very important, right? So I come from Knoxville, Tennessee. Right? I'm 28 years old. Come from Knoxville, Tennessee, in a small community called Lonsdale, where not many people make it out. Right? You don't get exposed to too many things. You don't get exposed to healthy marriages. You don't get exposed to people owning real estate. You don't get exposed to financial literacy. You don't get exposed to you would say the finer things of life, right? So the fact that God has put me on the path to get exposed to it, to be around the right people, to have mentors, to have people that are like spiritual guides for me, I want to be able to do that and become the person I need to become to help my people as well, right? One of my mentors always told me, sometimes your people won't believe they could do it until they see you do it. And I want to be that person that does it, so they can say they did it. Not only so that they can say they did it, but they have a blueprint to do it, and I can, help them out along their way. So it's very important for me to be able to do that.
I like that blueprint. I like that.
Yeah, I always, thought that or think that our name precedes who we are. So people are going to hear the name out there, and they have not met you, but when they meet you, they said, "Okay, this is the person." So from that standpoint, you have to set example. You have to lead by example. And I've tried. I have two young men, two sons, and you're in America. This is black. These are black young men in America. One is 28 and the other is 25. And you try to live a life at home that they can emulate, because I look at life as a relay. We're not going to be here forever, and they should be able to see what we did and even expound and get better at it. So we got to leave that mark. When somebody calls my name out there, it should be about something good. I always see people and they say, I know this person who knows you and everything, and it was a good conversation. In the real estate business, or in most business, if you have one disgruntled client, you're going to lose about 10 or more. So again, if you do something wrong, I do something wrong to a client, or didn't give the right service, you're going to find that person's not going to refer me to anybody else. If somebody mentions my name, say, oh no, stay away from him, stay away from him. So it's very important for you to try your best and maintain that integrity. People are still going to maybe throw stones at you and say things, but what percentage that is not that great. So again, lead by example, and hopefully the younger young men who are looking on can look on us and say, yes, we got to be like them or better.
That's good.
Let me ask this. I just from listening to both of you, leaving a mark, I hear legacy. So I often say, especially when we're on this platform, that we get the opportunity to change the narrative, right, for our communities, even just as men. How important is legacy, and what is if you're creating a legacy, what is that legacy that you want to leave to inspire generations after you, be it your own children or just mentees and others? What does legacy mean to you, and what is the legacy that you are working to leave?
Well, I mean, legacy to me is action. Your action, what you're doing, is going to be that footprint that people can emulate and follow. I look at a generation. My dad passed when I was at the age of 13, so I didn't have a dad to grow up with, and but my mom became the dad and did a good job. And I still think that my dad, when he left, he already had set a legacy for me to follow. He was a businessman. He had we're in Jamaica, and he was a vet. He had chicken. We used to raise chickens. He had a store. He had a shop. He had all these things. So I think the business aspect of that I got from him, although he did pass early, tender age. So he has passed on that legacy in that short span of time that he was around, because I saw his lifestyle. I saw he was a family man. And interestingly, when he died at 46, all of my siblings, that was the age that we had to pass that age. So when we got beyond 46, we said, yay, we did it.
Yeah.
In that short space of time, just being 13, he passed on that to us, that we were able now to grow and emulate what he did something similar, maybe a little more. And then I want to pass it on to my kids also, so that legacy, it's like you're trying, every generation should be better than the generation before. So if I can do good right now, I mean, I tell my friends, and this may sound morbid and everything, but if I should pass now, I think I'm at peace, because I think I've accomplished most of what I wanted to do. And I'm just on borrowed time. The legacy is very important. And you see, if you're not concerned about human beings and everything, you say, but we have to. We are in a country where we need folks like us to try and break those barriers. Those barriers will always be there, but we can't let those barriers hold us down. And so we have to leave that legacy that the ones behind us say, look, Dad tried, we got to try harder.
Well, my friend, I want you to borrow as much time as you can. Just keep borrowing time. We need you around here, because not only are you setting a legacy for your children, but for our children as well. So just keep doing what you're doing and just keep powering it up. All right. So borrow more time. Hold it for time.
Absolutely. I kind of want to piggyback off what Brother Gary said. When I think about legacy, when Juan said something, I thought about execution and perseverance. And that's exactly what I think of when I think of legacy and what I want to leave. When people are attached to me or even talk about me, I want them to see me as an executor, somebody that persevered. And anybody that's worked with me, I want them to be the same way. When I get to the opportunity to have some kids, I want to instill that within them. And something that I aspire to build, especially in Houston, is a personal development academy for young men. Right, I see what you guys are doing here, and I love what you guys are doing here, and we need more of it. It's not often where you get Black men in the same space of different generations that have a productive conversation. Quite honestly, I haven't had that in Houston. I've been here for 4 years, so this is already blessing me in itself. So yeah, to keep it short and sweet and simple, when I think about legacy, to me it means execution and perseverance, and that's what I want to leave behind.
That's good.
I love it. I love it.
Augusta, I know you have a question for
Yeah.
again.
So I got a question for both. I hear the talk of being blessed to be able to help others, and I really enjoyed what Gary G said, specifically with how he and his wife are considering what they're doing in ministry with the housing that they're doing with helping people, and that's them giving their alms and giving back to the country and helping those people. So I would ask, from a standpoint of the ministry and the work and blessing, how much of a role has faith played in your purpose and the decisions you've made, and even the career paths that you've elected?
In terms of faith and God are synonymous. I remember when we started this business, it was just 3 rooms for 3 residents. But first, let me back up. This place I'm at, it was originally my real estate office. And then when 2008 came and real estate took a dive, you had to dig in and have faith to survive.
Yeah.
So I had 3 options: lose the place, rent the place, or sell it. And none of those options really panned out. And I remember having a for sale sign outside, and I was driving by one day and my sign disappeared. And I said, who took my sign? Then I called the city and they said they took my sign. And I said, why would you trouble my sign when you have all the other signs up there who are put up there by the other people, and you don't mess with their sign, but you mess with my sign? But that same day I had the thought of switching to the personal care home. So by faith, I said, we can do this. So I called downtown and they said, yes, we can do it. And came in here and removed my sign, and my neighbors, let me say, I'm the only one on the street who looks like me. So here it is. The neighbor's husband said, oh, good job, man. You're going to do this. Within 2 minutes, the wife came and said, not in my neighborhood. So here it is now. What do? I call downtown and they said, look, don't worry about it. Once we gave you the permit, that you're good. But what happens is that she thought that I had to put one of those rezoning signs outside for them to come in and approve. So she would have been the one to stick it to me. So that happened. And when you're 3 residents, you quickly realize that 3 residents is not a business. So to move above that, you have to go downtown and sit in front of 5 commissioners and basically sell yourself, tell them why. So here it is, all this room full of all of the zoning people. I'm there, my son is there with his little thumb drive. We realize it's not compatible with theirs, so that's out the window. And they give you 10 minutes to go up and sell why you want to increase. And then 5 minutes in, they stop me. And I'm saying, oh, Lord, here we go. And the lady says, sir, before the meeting, we as commissioners meet, and we already have decided it's a yes or a no. And it was a no. But based on your presentation, it's a unanimous 5.
Well, look at God.
Right? And so if it wasn't for that, you and I wouldn't be talking about the business today, because on 3 you can't survive. So I just everything I do, I think about I have faith. I always say, when you have obstacles in life, it's God testing you. He's giving you a challenge or an exam, and you just have to pass it.
That's good.
And that mindset has as keep me going. So anytime something comes my way, I just smile because I know, based on faith and resilience and everything, I'm just gonna use it as a test and pass the test.
Pass the test. That's
Yeah.
good.
Good.
Pass
Yeah.
the test.
I like it. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
I love.
Well, I'm gonna try not to make this too long, but long story short, well, long story kind of long. Let's take you back to 2020, right? So I'm in undergrad at University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. I'm studying exercise science. And my whole life I've been working on Rex Fit. My name is Rex, and I built a brand around Rex Fit training. Right, I was a personal trainer, and I created a clothing line. And nobody could tell me that I wasn't going to be a personal trainer in my career and continue this brand until COVID hit. Right before we graduated, we went strictly online. COVID hit, kind of shut everything down. So you're taking a kid that's an extrovert, that's used to being out and about. I'm also in a fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. So used to being outside, and you got to put this kid inside now to deal with all the things I haven't dealt with. So God is kind of isolating me, but I didn't know what He was doing it for. But during this time, I started writing, right? I started journaling. I started learning a little bit more about myself. I started kind of working on this healing process that everybody talks about, right? So then graduation comes around, August. I pack up my bags, I graduate, and then I shoot home to Knoxville, Tennessee. That same day, I got robbed at gunpoint, got everything stolen, right?
Oh.
So, I've been around guns. I've never had a gun on me. Never felt that experience before. So, in that moment, I'm like, all right, God, I graduated. I did what a lot of people don't do. And the day I move home, this is what happens. But I was like, okay, you must have a plan. So the very next day, I was able to get everything back. The robber threw my phone out the window and didn't know that I had an iPad inside the car. Located my phone, which means I was able to locate my iPad the very next day. Got everything back, but the only thing I didn't get back was my peace of mind, right? But because I already started working on my healing, I knew how to go back to that. So I knew I wasn't ready to like tap into therapy just yet because in my household they say we don't put them white folks in your business. So I
Right.
was like,
Right.
so I knew it wasn't time for me to do that. So I go to the bookstore and I find this book called Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, and it was a workbook. So I'm working through these exercises, working through these workbooks, and about a month and a half goes by, and I'm realizing I'm starting to feel a lot better. And I said to myself, if I can do this for myself, I know I can help other people do this as well. So I started having conversations with my mentors and my parents, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try to go to school for counseling. They said, Rex, you got two options. You can become a licensed professional counselor, or you can become a marriage and family therapist. I knew I came from a dysfunctional family. I said, I want to focus on the family and marriages. So, I prayed about it. But I was like, I know I don't want to be in Knoxville. This is a place I got robbed, a place I grew up in. Nobody really makes it from Knoxville, so let me go somewhere else. Texas has always been on my mind since a kid. I don't know why, but he kind of led me to it. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take a trip to Houston. Joe Biden blesses with some checks, and I'm gonna take this trip. So I drove to Houston with two of my guys, 14 hours during COVID. Everything was shut down, but I fell in love with the city in 2 days. And I said, this is where I'm coming. I'm gonna apply to some schools. If I get accepted, I'm coming. So I finally get accepted into Houston Christian University. But I had no place to stay. I was like, God gonna help me figure it out. One of my mentors lived in San Antonio. He called me, said, Rex, I heard what happened. I heard you trying to get into school. You can actually come stay at my crib for your first semester. Don't have to worry about paying no bills. Only thing I need you to do is give me a workout for the gym 4 times a week. I was like, done. That's done. So I get on the road. It's 14 hours, but my first 4 hours on that drive, I'm doing nothing but listening to God. And as I'm listening to the guy, he's talking to me about, and he's showing me visions about like which I'm seeing visions of me being on stages, being me talking to men, me being on podcasts, and then he gave me this idea to write a book, right? And that's something I'm still in the process of doing. So I finally get to Houston, mind you, $1,200 to my name, and I owed my apartment complex $1,000 upon arrival. So you're talking about I finally get there. I didn't tell my parents about my financial situation because you tell your parents you don't got enough money to move across across the world almost,
Hey,
they're
where
gonna
you
try to
going?
stop you.
Yeah.
I said, no, I don't want nobody stopping me. So I get there, I finally pay everything. I got $110 to my name. I'm in this new city. My bills are paid, no furniture, no nothing. I'm just a kid with a dream from Knoxville, Tennessee, that's trying to make it happen. And I just kept praying, like, all right, God, you got me here. You, as long as I'm putting in the work, I know you're gonna help me. right? So everything continued to just to fall in its place. I got one of my mentors that I met in North Carolina in 2017. She called me. She said, Rex, a lady that leads the Bible City group that I do online, she lives in your neighborhood, and I want to connect you guys. So then I had a mentor in my city that I went to church with. Okay, cool. Now I had spiritual guidance. And then one of my friends that I grew up with, she just so happened to work in the city too. She said, hey, Rex, I work at this restaurant and just so happened to be 7 minutes away from my house. Come get you a job. We're making some good money here. So God blessed me with that. Meanwhile, I'm in school, I'm working, and it's getting close for me to be in an internship. So I'm like, all right, God, I don't know, I have a location. I don't have many connections here, but I know you're going to bless me. While I'm at work, I'm serving this table, and I meet this lady named Cindy. I'm telling her I'm in here. I'm an intern student for marriage and family therapy. And she said, listen, I just bought a private practice right down the street. You should come work for me. We would love to have you for your internship. I'm like, man, okay, I'm coming. You don't got to say nothing else. I'm coming. So also during this time, being in isolation, not really having friends, not really having family, even my partner at the time, I didn't have her. So, I'm going through it. And I pray, I say, God, I want to be around some positive men that's going to grow. Right. But I don't want to be around men that's about partying because I've done that in life. I don't want to live that life. I really want to be more mature. I want to be healthy. So while I'm at the restaurant still, I come across this group. Is a table, there's two couples, 55 and up. And I told them they asked me how I was doing. I was like, I'm blessed. They was like, oh, wow, you must go to church. I was like, yes, sir, I do. I said, but I've been looking for a Bible study group for men. They was like, well, we just so happen to have a Bible study group for men. And he was like, we would love to have you. I was like, I'm coming. You give me the address, I'm coming. So I'll go to the Bible study group for the men. It's about 10 guys. Literally everybody's age 55 and up. And here I am, 28. They're looking at me like, what are you doing here with us? I'm like, listen, I'm here to grow. I'm here to learn. And I'm here to take in as much wisdom as I can because I know God placed me here for a reason. So I say all that to say my faith has been the biggest thing that's helped me, right? Because if I didn't have faith, I would have lost track. I would have been lost out here. I would have made decisions that wouldn't have got me to where I am now. So fast forward, I graduate in August. I get a full-time position as a therapist here at this office. And, God has continued to bless me. I have a full caseload of clients. I'm making more money than I've ever made before, and I'm not even fully licensed yet. And God has just been good. And he also blessed me with a new partner that's been such a valuable piece to my journey along this way. So, yeah, that's my answer.
That's amazing.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Yes,
Let's get Xavier. Xavier, do you have any questions that you want to ask our guests?
Yeah, I like to say first, Rex, you chose the right year, but the wrong colors. Roots of the good bruhs. But for the both of you, what led you guys to not get comfortable? I heard you say, Gary G, you came to chase the American dream. Rex, you said you came from a broken home. You guys both done amazing things in your lives, and really, you guys could have stopped at the first part that you guys were at, but you guys kept pushing through and kept keeping going, kept achieving more. I'm sure that Rex, you have more things that you're still wanting to achieve. Gary G, I'm sure you have more things that you're still wanting to achieve. What is it that keeps you guys still moving forward and not being stagnant?
Oh, well, energy. I think I have a very high metabolic rate. And I've just been an active kid. I was an active kid playing soccer in Jamaica and just, good old days, the sunshine, you got to get up and move. And I just don't believe in the status quo of certain things. I always do things legally, but I look into it and figure out how can I survive and do something without being bombarded by this legal stuff. I mean, in my career, I started out as a parking attendant in New York back in the 80s. And you make a lot of money being a parking attendant. You're unionized and everything. But then that wasn't me. The money was good, but it wasn't me. And I remember wanting to move into management, and my guy said, man, you're going to lose the union negotiating for you. I said, let me tell you something. The only person or the best person that can negotiate for me is me. I go and I sit down with HR and I say, HR, they want me to move from A to B. I negotiate with them. A union can't negotiate for me. And I moved from an attendant. I went to an assistant manager. I went up to a manager, got award for award of the year. And then I was studying in college because in Jamaica, I didn't have a degree and I needed to get that. So that's one of the things, tracing the American dream. I came here and realized, you can pay your money, you can get your degree. So got the degree, and in the company, I moved up. And it was interesting. Most of the guys who were at the other level, which were general managers, were not like me. But one day I got a call if I wanted a GM position. I mean, I fell out of my chair. And I said to them, who am I, which area? I was in New Jersey. They said New York. And I said, okay, but I'm going to replace Mr. X. Where's he going? They said, do you want the job or not? I said, oh, yes, I'll take the job. But Mr. X didn't like the bone in me. So a couple of weeks later after I accepted the job, I said, so who's going to train me? They said, Mr. X. And I said, holy crap. So again, I didn't stay down as an attendant. I came here for a purpose. I always think that if something should happen and I got to go back home to Jamaica, I can't go back home the same way I left there.
That's good.
You know? So getting the degree is good. Trust me, if you're in Jamaica and somebody coming from foreign with a degree, once you're coming from foreign, you're gone, right? So I couldn't afford to come here and be stagnant. So I've just always kept on that role. I left when I was leaving New York to come here. I was sitting my real estate exam. My car was packed downstairs with my clothes and everything. So guess what? I have to pass that exam. Passed the exam, got in the car and drove to Georgia. So, I mean, I just think my mind works so much that I'm always looking for something else to do, which I guess helps with not getting bored. So that's just me. Energy.
That's good.
Energy man.
That's good. Xavier, you mind to ask that question one more time? I'm going to make sure I heard you right.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what kind of kept you to keep moving forward and not just being comfortable where you were at.
Simply put, the cost of being comfortable, the cost of not moving forward. Like I said, you know, I know we've all seen impoverished communities, but when I go home, that's what I see. Right? I go home to see my mama work 5 12-hour shifts. You know what I'm saying? And knowing her back hurt, knowing her feet hurt, and knowing there's still kids at home. I go home to people not having enough help. You know, I go home to people asking for this or asking for that because just the lack of resources. I go home to that every single time. And it's just like, for me, it's the cost of not making it happen. And you know, sometimes that can be a lot of pressure. But I feel like God has blessed me with the perseverance, right? And the execution to push past that pressure, but also have enough people in my circle to pour into me enough to where, you know, I have some guidance. And it's not just something that I'm taking on by myself, but to simply put, the cost of not moving forward, the cost of not executing and seeing what I have to go home to, that's just not something that I can't, like, I personally don't think I can stop. Because if I stop, then who's going to do it?
Right.
Powerful. Gentlemen, let's take a quick break and then come back. Let's take a quick break.
A collision with purpose. In pursuit of purpose.
Right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. So I have a quick question. Maybe it's not even a question. What I would like you to do, gentlemen, Rex and Gary, I would like you to look at each other. Look at each other. Now, one a little bit older than the other, one a little bit younger, and talk to each other. Gary, ask Rex, what can I do to support you as a young man? And Rex, you're going to do the same thing.
Well,
What can I do?
So
Yeah.
yeah, Rex. And let me start out this way. Rex, I have a son your age. He's going to be 28 in April, and I had the pleasure of having a dinner with he and his wife, who will celebrate their first anniversary at the 28th of this month. Last week with my wife's birthday, and that question, we sat there and we looked at them. He may not be in touch with me as I want him to be, but then my wife and I left there feeling comfortable that he's happy and she's happy.
Yeah.
At your age. So he's a mechanical engineer, and both of them are doing well. So I like what you're doing, and I've tried to encourage them to be entrepreneurs, but it's not everybody that is more introverted than you who are extroverted and doing your thing. So what can I do to support you? And I'm asking the question, and I'm going to answer it in a sense. We need to connect beyond here, and I know your ventures or whatever it is, and I'll basically sell you as a package of what you are doing. And I wanted my 25-year-old son to be on tonight. He may be on Facebook watching us. So I'll support you because I can see future in you and upward mobility. So that's what I see. You tell me what, as Laxley say, what can I do to help? Or not help, to assist.
To assist, man, both. To be honest, continue communication. I've always known that I'm going to use a different term too. Anybody that's ever come from a different country to make something, to establish something for themselves, just has a different type of dog in them, right?
Yeah.
A different type of dog in them. Your drive, your effort, your push, your motivation, your reason to take care of your family. It's on a whole different level. So just continue communication, wisdom, guidance. Are you married, sir?
Yeah, 30 in my 33rd year.
Perfect. So that's amazing. I am. Well, I won't spill the beans, but I found a young lady that that I would like to take that step with too. So continued conversation. I would just love to pick your brain on marriage, on business strategies, and just about what you do. So that's how you can help me big time.
Now, how can you, Rex, help Gary? Remember, now we're bridging generations, right?
Right.
So we're here to support each other. So talk to Gary.
So now it's the question, Mr. Gary.
Well,
how could I help you?
Yeah, well, I'm from the old school. So as Laxley will tell you, a lot of times that someone was telling me earlier to get on and do something down there. I have a clue what you're talking about. I'll pretend and not embarrass myself. So I always look to the youth. Anything at home that I need to do with the TV or anything, it's my sons, because
Right.
You guys have you're fresh. You know the ins and outs. You know the shortcut, and just how to get things done. So I would lean on you for that. You're younger than me, but I lean on you for guidance. I mean, I don't know it all. I'll never know it all, and I think by having that concept that I can learn, I'm always learning. So you guys are young. You were born here. I'm from a foreign land, and there are certain things here that I just can't get. My accent still remains the same. It's the old school I am. So I would lean on you, and establish that relationship where you can call me, I can call you. I don't want to say I'll be the father, you the son, but relationship. You know,
Absolutely.
just building a relationship and just learning from you. You're the field you're in. I'm not familiar with that field. There may be some things I can learn from you that I can use in my exercise routine.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
I go to the gym, but I don't know all these machines. I go and I look over and I see what the other guys doing, and I say, okay, he's doing that, so let me do it too. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's how that's the help I can I would want from you.
Yes, sir. I'm more than happy to help.
I think Gary G said something that I would ask you, Gary G. I'm gonna ask you, how can you help me? 33 years of marriage. I just a week ago I just turned 38 years old. So the fact that you have been married 5 more years than I have been blessed to grace this earth is amazing. Specifically in a time where, you saw, if you looked at the numbers during COVID, I would have conversations in the barbershop and in lounges. People said, this shift away from marriage because you had folk who, they might have been in that, the old myth of the 7-year itch and, the honeymoon stage. And then, they were all locked in the same house with their spouses. And all of a sudden it was like, I really don't like this person, and people getting away from marriage and discouraging it. So I would ask you, your advice to me and to anyone listening, as specifically, even for the listeners, but for me, as somebody who's about to go into marriage, with a woman who I love and I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. What's the key to 33 years?
Well, I think one of the first thing is respect. One of the main ingredient is respect. You got to love the person. You're going to find that you're coming from 2 different backgrounds. Each of you are going to have strengths and weaknesses. Never put down the other person for their weakness. Learn to compromise. Very important word, compromise. Don't try to make marriage a competition, right? If you compete, it's not going to work. I once told a young lady that the energy you use to compete with me, if you use that same energy, would have a great relationship. So compromise, loving, respect, and hoping that you have the same dreams. I remember us living in Brooklyn, New York, and then went to Jersey to buy the first home, and both of us on the same page. Yes, both of us wanted to go. We were young, no kids. Then we were in Jersey, had 2 kids, and we came to Georgia here for the Olympics, fell in love, and wanted to come. Both of us on the same thing. You find a lot of times that will break marriages because one wants to go and one wants to stay. But we were still young. We were still young and adventurous, and wanted to just make life together. So we had the same goals. Respect each other, love each other. I always say one of my goals for her is always to put a smile on her face. Boom. Right? And she reciprocates. Don't go in it. Don't go in it and talk about this is the man's role and this is the woman's role. Throw that out the window. Give your 100%, and she gives her 100%. You have no problem. I hear too many times. I hear friends, my husband gets home first, so he's the one who's got to cook and all that stuff. Guess what? I don't know how to turn on my washing machine. I always think in my house I have this magician because there's a little basket. I put the dirty clothes in there, and for some reason they're gone. And when they come back in the drawer, and I'm saying, who does this? So that's just to simplify it. You just have to just love each other and just want to do your best. Give your 100%.
Let's ask a professional counselor here.
I was just about to give my 2 cents. Because what Gary said was very powerful. 2 things. Thing number 1 is there's this workbook called Before You Say I Do. And with this workbook, me and my lady were actually being proactive with doing it. but it settles out everything. It covers everything from every piece of the marriage you can even think about. And it's a workbook that you have to put into you have to put effort in it. She has to put effort in. You guys come together and you answer the right questions, right? And some questions even ask you, what do you think your partner thinks about this? Right? And then even a simple question, what do you think your partner thinks about the purpose of marriage? You may think marriage is, just for status. She may think marriage is to be taken care of forever. But if you guys are on the same page, then you're already doomed to fail, right? So thing number one, be proactive. Get the book before you say I do. And then I think the most important thing is stay in your word. To be a man and to be the spiritual head of your relationship, to be the household. No matter how much relationship advice you can get from a therapist, a coach, from your best friend, from any married man that you know, God has already laid out a blueprint of how he wants a man, a husband, to show up for his wife in every single way, from provision to protection to finances to leave an inheritance for your family. He has already given you a blueprint to how to communicate and everything. So if you are a man that loves God and loves your woman and wants to treat your woman like God treated the church, like Christ treated the church, then your marriage will be beautiful and blessed.
Wow.
Amen,
Stuff.
Bishop. Amen.
Good stuff.
Powerful stuff. I have a question for Pan, guests and hosts. We can all agree that we need each other, right?
Yeah.
Generations, that is, the different generations. Do you find that the gap is widening? Are we working together as we should, strengthen who we are, the generations?
Mhm.
Is there some work to be done there? And
Oh, yeah.
if you believe some work is there to be done, what is that work?
This,
Yeah.
this,
I think it's
um,
communication, conversation.
yep. It's this. When I told you guys about the bobsledding group I was a part of, there was a group of completely all white men, right? And the powerful thing about that group was there was days where these guys were vulnerable. They would cry. They would talk about how things weren't going great with their wife. They would talk about the stress that comes from having kids that are disobedient. They would talk about the stress from life and feeling like they may not make enough or not feeling like they are enough. And I've never been a part of that conversation with black men before.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Especially older black men. Everything is always about, man, figure it out, man, you be all right, man. The same thing we were taught growing up is the same conversation we're continuing to have. In fact, the very last time I was in a group of black men, the conversation was around stepping out on their wives. That was the conversation. And it was a comfortable thing to have. The term was I'm a husband at home and I'm a hoe on the road.
Yeah.
That was a conversation. So if that's what I'm being poured into, that's what I'm going to believe is okay to do. And I hate that I had to step outside into a whole different race to see vulnerability, to see those different things. But this is right here is next level, to have brothers like Gary and the doctor and Juan as a mentor, to have these conversations, to talk about where you are and from different perspectives of life. I may be going through something that everybody in this group experienced, and everybody in the experience dealt with in a different kind of way. And I may be able to learn something from each one of your perspectives. And if I'm dealing with something that's hard, I don't have to do it by myself because I have 5 other brothers to turn to pray for me, to guide me, to lead me. So this is what's going to help bridge that gap.
I feel like we're doing better with it. Honestly, I want to say COVID helped with that.
Right.
I feel like COVID helped with people in Laxley's generation. They finally got open to admitting that they don't know everything. Before COVID, you had everyone not really leaning on the younger generation. I know everything. I know what I'm doing. A child should be in a child's place. But now,
Right.
this is just from my experience. Since COVID, everyone's like, I don't know everything. Because with COVID, that wiped out a lot of that generation's parents. And so since their parents are gone, they really don't know everything. They can't go to them for guidance. So now they really kind of have no choice but to lean on the younger generation, because now technology is advancing. Everything's advancing right now. And the kids, the children, we're being taught how to move with the advanced generation. Now we're not doing the same thing that we've been doing before. So kind of really no choice. And I feel like it's better now that everyone's kind of admitting fault and that we're getting into a more comfortable state where people are open to talk. And younger people are more open to talk to older people now because everyone feels welcome now. Well, I won't say not everyone, but it's more welcome than what it has been before.
That's good.
So some improvements. Noted.
Some improvement. I would say to Rex's point, he used the term vulnerability. I remember speaking at a corporate event, and I transparency is, you see I have a green hat on. Transparency is the thing that people see. It's somewhat readily available information if you fill it out. Vulnerability is me opening up to something that you would never know if I wouldn't have told you.
Absolutely.
Now we see this changing of the guard, similar to what Xavier said. Like, my father is 73, he'll be 74 years old. I remember his dad being alive and the things he would say. And as each one got older, they kind of opened up to the son. They kind of opened up to the ideas. So I think it's just a regular cycle. As you get older, you see the things your fathers, your uncles, your mothers, your grandmothers, whoever it was in your family, and that kind of changing the guard, being like, they were correct. But now, like, wow, maybe I should listen to this. Maybe I should change. So we've seen it, but the change has been more than incremental since COVID. I think now, the advent of technology, the pushing where people were kind of in spaces by themselves, the seclusion. I had, great uncles and great aunts who, they never, I'm talking folk in their late 70s, early 80s, who they were not tech savvy at all. These is folk who, they put the phone on the hook. Xavier, you're a little young, but there was once a time where the phone went on a hook on the wall. The phone went on a hook. And these were people who were Zooming me, FaceTiming me, Facebook messaging me for that need of contact, information, presence. So I think now we're seeing that change, and it's welcoming. We can get more of the younger folk who we think we know it all, and combine that with the older generation who feels like they've done it all, and everyone comes together and agrees we get some stuff wrong. I'm off on this. I was left and I should have went right. Once we get all those people collectively to decide we ain't always right, man, it's going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing.
So it's the coming together of the know it all and the done it all, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious to hear what Gary say about this. As one of the older one here, and not old, but older on this platform.
Yeah. That technology thing, Lax. I remember even going back to the same corporate America jobs and everything, where you're expected to know how to. There's no secretary. The days of secretary are maybe you got to do most of your work. And I remember I was having an issue with something, and I called one of my sons. I said, "Can you help me with this? Can you type this?" And that young man sat down there, and I saw his finger moving. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm typing." I said, "Where you learn that?" He said, "Daddy, that's a part of college." And here I am now. When I'm there and my assistant manager would come in, I have assistant manager, I would do the one finger joke. One. But if you are there and you're listening and not seeing me, you think I'm a pro, because I got so good on this, moving the fingers, boom, boom, boom. It seemed like I know what I was doing. But so that technological thing, yes, I think I've caught up in a sense, with it. I'm more fluent in some areas, but yes, that phone hanging on the wall, and that is a real deal. Cell phones. We had to wait until we got home to play an answering machine to hear what's going on, and here it is now. If you walk on the street today and you see somebody, guess what is in everybody's hand? A phone. It's not in their pockets, it's on them. So that little tool is a great tool. It can make you, break you. Oh, talking about that, check out my song on YouTube called Cellular, Cellella. I did a song about cellular, about cell phones, right? So check it out on YouTube. Cellella talks about all the stuff that you can't live without it. You talk about wrong text, no matter vex. This is something that autocorrect text to you said I love you. No, text to you said I love you. Autocorrect said I love Sue. You know, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's out there. Check it out. But yeah, the technology. I think I've caught up, but it's going. I cannot catch up. Put it this way, I cannot catch up. Every day something else changes, but I'm cool. I'm level. I'm comfortable where I am, and I'll reach out to Rex and Xavier and Juan and all of you if I have any problems.
We got you, man. We got you.
Juan, let's hear your take on this.
Just listening to everything, even what the conversation we've had, two thoughts came to mind. Definitely concerning generations, and especially with men, I think we're learning and just embracing the thought that we need each other.
Yeah.
That we were wrong about some things. And I mean, both generations, not older was wrong and younger was. We were all wrong. That as the older, like the younger, they know some things, and I need them, and vice versa. The second thought is this: what came to mind was Joel 2 when it talks about his God's spirit being poured out on all flesh, right? And it goes on to say that old men will dream dreams and young men will have visions, will see visions. And the whole idea, which just was embodied in this conversation, was that even in Nehemiah, when the walls were being rebuilt, the old men wept because what they dreamt of, they thought was lost because they've gone older and out of touch. So who's going to rebuild? And then so now the sons and daughters can see visions, and to see a vision is to be awake. You dream when you sleep.
Yep.
And so now you have this generation coming about who's awake, who's fully alert. So now what we dreamed about, we have somebody who can actually articulate. We have somebody who actually has the strength and the power to build and execute. So that's what came to mind, is that's why we need each other, because what I dreamed about, I go back to when Obama was, when he first elected, and I know there were so many people who lived through civil rights and in times before that cried because they thought they would never see it. I remember talking to my grandmother, who's 83 now, and she was just speechless, right? So I think now we're able to come together, and it's gradual, but we're coming together to say, hey, you know this, you understand this, I need you, you need me. So
Good.
One thing I'm learning is this is not a conversation we can have in an hour.
right.
I'm learning that. And, so it's a conversation that can go on forever. I know, in my generation, unfortunately, for many of us, we're the first. We're the first. Our fathers, for whatever reason, whether in Gary's case, he departed early, or in other instances, they just weren't there to teach us. So we had to learn by observing, through observation, or just figuring it out as we go along. So, because as a result, many of us got it wrong. So, and that's why I believe it is so important for us to be having these conversations.
Absolutely.
I know that the more we live in a learning environment, the more effective all of us will be.
That's good.
In terms of relating and connecting with each other. I know Gary talked about technology, and I understand exactly what he's saying, but I also believe, what I know for a fact is, no matter what your age is, we're living in the same time.
Yeah, that's good.
We're experiencing life in the same time. Whatever you're experiencing, you may, you because of reluctance or not willing to be exposed to certain things, but it's happening. It's happening, and it's affecting us. So I believe no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, as long as you're, of that age, of course, then you need to make yourself give yourself access to whatever is happening around you, because only then can you really become a better you.
Absolutely.
A better you. So, talking to, of course, not us, because the mere fact that we're open to come on and have this conversation, it means that we're willing to grow.
Absolutely.
We're willing to be a little bit better. And I know all of us, this conversation tonight, 6 of us here, we will be a little bit better.
Amen to that.
Yes, sir.
All 6 of us. So my take is let's spread the word. Let's continue to have dialogue, discord. Let's just talk for the sake of just talking about having good conversations. But I will say, let's listen, not just so we're just have something to say, but let's listen so we're learning. Listen to learn so we're having a better understanding of, who you are, who I am. Because so much of who you are is who I am.
Absolutely.
We can see ourselves. I've known Juan, I don't even know how long. I've known Juan.
I was 14.
And we've been having these kind of conversations. And now I'm learning that Juan's been having these type of conversations with Rex. So you see how teaching from one person, myself, I've had many conversations, and now Juan is having it with Rex. Rex is going to be having it. It's that type of effect that we want to have in each other.
Absolutely.
So needless to say, Rex, you said this is a first for you in a panel like this with people that look like us.
Yes, sir.
But you've seen it elsewhere with people that look just a little bit different. But it's so important. And that's one of the reasons why we decided, the 4 of us decided that this is something we must do.
Absolutely.
I don't think we have a choice. We don't have a choice. Right, Gary?
We don't.
Mandate.
I can say we're living it. We are in the same arena.
Yeah.
Right.
So gentlemen, I want to go around the room and let's have closing arguments. And who's gonna go? They always pick on Xavier. I'm gonna pick on Xavier. Closing argument.
Man, it's just always a blessing to be a part of this. Not even my ears, my heart is getting bigger, even more as we go through this. I'm excited for next week. This is definitely helping shape me to be a better man. Listening to all you guys and just all the joy that comes from just even hearing you guys share your stories, all the hardships that you went through, just seeing how you can go through the hardships and still come out to a better side with it. I hope the best for everyone on this call as we go through this, and you just stay in touch. We don't have to be on this call to reach out to each other as well. But, yeah.
Absolutely. That's good.
Wow, someone said I'm proud of my godson, Xavier. But you're not the only one that is proud of Xavier. We're all proud of him.
Yeah.
We're all proud of him. Yeah. So who's next?
I can go ahead and go. I'm coming from a therapist perspective. I just want to challenge every man in this group and everybody just listening, whoever's listening, to get help, right? Talk to somebody, whether that's your pastor, whether that's a coach, whether that's a therapist. There's this quote that's always stuck with me, and it said, if a man doesn't kill the snake in his garden, it'll show up in the garden of his sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that being the case, maybe you have some things that was passed down from your father, that was passed down from your granddaddy to your father. But now that you acknowledge that you have it, it's time for you to do something with it, right? Because if you do have kids or plan to have kids, they're going to model your behavior, right? And then whether is it going to be good behavior, is going to be bad behavior, are they going to be fruitful, or do they have some things that need to be pruned? So if you just like it's good to be in this kind of group and listen, it's also good to learn. It's also good to get help, and it's also good to not be okay. It's good to not be okay because God has given us resources to get better. So that's my closing remark.
Come on with that professional tip.
Man,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
I love it.
I would say, guys, let's just stay the course.
Yeah.
The temptations are going to come, and we got to be able to yield those temptations. Stay the course, keep the energy, keep the enthusiasm, and always have that checklist to see. As I say, every year I look back and see, what did I do? What was it plus last year? If every year I can see where I improved in somewhere, did something, whether it's at a personal care home where I moved, just recently I moved from 10 to 12 rooms, and I'm going to 14, just have a goal and just stay that course, because let me tell you, the surroundings we are in, there are temptations there that are just going to pull us apart. And we want to look back a year from now and we come back with the same forum and look at these younger guys and saying, hey, what have you done lately? Right? It's got to be forward ever and a backward never.
That's good. That's like that.
Oh, let me write that down.
It's not. I took it from something I hear, so it's let me. I'm just using something what I've heard.
That's going on the T-shirt, G. That's going on the T-shirt.
There you go.
And I would speak to what these shirts say. Bridging generations, voices of men. Juan heard me say this last week. It'd be remiss if I didn't. I think every week I'm gonna hit something from Proverbs. Proverbs 20 and 29. The glory of the young is in their strength, but the gray hair of experience is the splendor of old. The wisdom, the experience, the knowledge. My father took and continues at 73 years old to take pride in his gray hair. Since we were younger, when he started growing gray, he would say, this isn't just me getting old. This is me getting better. This is me improving. This is me gaining wisdom. I always tell people you could get knowledge from a book, but you get experience through life. So when I could lean on brothers like Laxley and Brother Jerry, and even someone like Juan, Rex, even someone younger like X, it's fulfilling to me. It provides me with the knowledge that I need, because I might have all this strength and this vigor and this get up and go, but at times I need some guidance for the get up and go. Absolutely. So being able to lean and glean information from those brothers with the gray who've been blessed to bump their head a couple of times and they can tell me how to not do it, it's fulfilling and it is absolutely worth it.
That's good.
That's good. I'll say this, I'm big on it. It means a lot. So let's continue just to change the narrative. Change the narrative. We are making impact and making waves in our communities because we are becoming better men in our families. So let's continue to strengthen our family unit, right? Just change the dynamic by changing the narrative so we can change our communities, and I live by this. There's a lot of things I live by, but definitely this is Dr. Maya Angelou said it best. When you get, give. When you learn, teach. Yeah. And I feel like what Doc said and even what Gary said is it is a mandate for us. Those who have a sense and that can pick up on and they can discern the times, just has an understanding of what we're going through and what we are just as a people, has the responsibility to give and to teach. So I'm just happy to be a part of a community that is open to growth, and just and pushing forward.
That's good.
I want to end with saying that wisdom is not the domain for the old, the elderly, all of us. Everything. Some of these young kids, my grandson, I see him do, and my granddaughter, I see them do some stuff. It blew me away. Wisdom is not just for the aged ones or the elderly. So understand that we need to learn that we must grow wherever we're planted. We cannot complain that this is my situation. Now, what do I do about it?
It's real.
I can't say I was born into this environment, into this family. Okay, all good and well, right? Just like that tree, the seeds that fall off the tree, it's going to grow. We must grow no matter what, no matter where we're planted, right? So I think it's important that through conversations like this, and just expand it now. Rex, you say it's not happening where you are. Guess what you do now?
Time started.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Because you got to grow where you're planted.
Absolutely.
Right? You got to grow where you're planted. So, gentlemen, we could talk forever, but we can't. I know somebody like Gary got to get back to work. Rex got to go do his things. Xavier got to go do his thing one, and Augusta. But I think we must say thanks to all our listeners, people watching us, and for all the wonderful comments. We appreciate everything that is said, and we'll be back here next week, next Thursday, same time. And I want to give thanks to Rex and to Gary for coming on and for all what you shared today. I know I, for one, I feel enriched.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely will be back. They will definitely be back.
And
we appreciate y'all for having me too.
Yeah, I tell you what, we can have up to 10 on the screen. So we could bring 2 guests plus have you guys back on. So you're always welcome. Anytime you want to come on, because I know what you shared tonight is just small piece of your story. So you'll always bring us a perspective that will be so welcome and needed. And needed as well. So I'm looking for all of you to continue to doing what you're doing and just spread the word, have conversations, talk about what is happening. And as Rex said, it's okay not to be okay, because you must acknowledge that you're not in order to fix it, right?
Absolutely.
So, we can't go on forever. So I'm going to close it down. I'm going to close it down, gentlemen, but I really appreciate everyone for coming on. So out there, folks, we appreciate you joining us. Bridging generations, voices of men in a changing world. And that's what this conversation is all about. So until next time, thank you and blessings always.
Sir.
Well, y'all, peace.
Collision with purpose. In pursuit of purpose.